Hello,
I'm Cathy.
I'm Rachel, and this is Lunabird Bookclub.
We're outside today, which is unusual for us as vloggers. So today is the 23rd of September, the day after somebody's birthday. Whose birthday?
Well, two people's birthdays.
Two people's birthdays.
Bilbo Baggins and Frodo Baggins. Fictional characters.
So we thought we'd celebrate by doing the Tolkien Trail, which is quite near us in Clitheroe, today. So this is going to be a walk around the area of Hurst Green and Stonyhurst College, where Tolkien's son studied, and Tolkien came to visit him a lot whilst his son was studying here, and apparently did a lot of writing of some very famous works.
As we walk the trail, we're going to discuss our thoughts about Lord of the Rings, themes, characters, etc, etc. We're joined by our families who are also Lord of the Rings fans, so we might hear some call outs from them maybe. I'm looking at them, I'm not getting much of a reaction, but
No.
yeah, we hope you enjoy our little exploration, some Tolkien tourism.
And also there might be a dog barking.
There
And
might
there
be a dog barking.
barking, yeah. Okay, off we go.
As Cathy said, the Tolkien Trail starts in a little village called Hurst Green in East Lancashire. I would say if you are wanting to do the trail yourself, it would be a good idea to get a map beforehand, whether that's a paper one or a digital one, because the trail itself isn't specifically signposted. You're just going on different public footpaths and around the boundary of the college and things like that. And speaking from experience, the reception in the area isn't amazing. But I would say it is well worth a trip to do this walk. It's a really lovely piece of countryside, and you can see the different landscapes that Tolkien will have been in himself at a time when he was writing Lord of the Rings, when he was visiting his son. And yeah, I feel really lucky to live so nearby to lots of beautiful walks. This isn't the only beautiful walk in my area, but it was nice to get something kind of related to literature in there as well.
We've made it to our first stop on our little walk. This is Stonyhurst College, where Tolkien's son came to study for a priesthood, and Tolkien and his family came to visit, stay in the grounds. Tolkien taught a few lectures here, and then his other son came here to teach classics. Cathy, while we're here, could you tell me a little bit about your experience with Lord of the Rings, or Tolkien in general?
Okay, so I started reading, actually no, my dad started reading Tolkien to me when I was very young. He read me The Hobbit, and I really, really loved it. And then I watched the 1970s animated film, which is so underrated. I absolutely love it. Nobody else is a fan of it that I know, but I adore it.
You showed it to me when I came to your house one day when I was a child, and now I have it on DVD.
Oh, nice. There you go. This is why we're still friends.
I'm a convert.
And then Dad started reading to me Fellowship of the Ring, and then petered off partway through, and I had to finish the rest on my own, and it took me years. So by the time I'd finished the trilogy, I felt like I had been to Mordor and back. I'd done the journey. So it took me years and years to read it, and then I finally got there, and I'd managed to finish it all about a year before the films came out.
Oh, nice.
So like the build up to Peter Jackson's films was just an amazing time to have like just finished Lord of the Rings and to be about 13, and I was just like the perfect age for all of that, and I've loved Lord of the Rings ever since.
I was 3 when the films came out, which is not the perfect age to watch Lord of the Rings, but so my parents are both fantasy fans, sort of. So I watched the films first as a child, loved them, was obsessed with them, would watch them all the time. One time I watched The Fellowship, when the extended editions came out on DVDs, I watched The Fellowship, the first half of it, and then immediately after, instead of watching the second half, I watched the first half again with the cast commentary.
The cast commentary.
The cast commentaries are great. They're great.
It's amazing.
Anyway, so loved the films. Tried to read the books maybe 4 or 5 times as a child/teenager, and would always stall. I think I've read The Fellowship about 5 times, and then I'd get about halfway through Two Towers and just couldn't hack it. But then this past year I was trying to read it chronologically, so you like jump back and forwards in the book, and I got about halfway through Return of the King in February of this year, put it down, fell off the map. But then I picked it up again recently. Started in Return of the King. Did I say Return of the King? Fellowship of the Ring. And because obviously I'm so familiar with the story, I didn't need to start it again. So I just picked up from where I was, and I finally finished it about last week.
Oh, congratulations! Did you cry?
Of course I cried. What a silly question. But yeah, I now feel like, now that I've conquered it, I could sit down and happily read it and not tail off in the Two Towers.
Yeah.
Like a bored teenager.
Yeah, I think it's really difficult to read the whole thing once, and then once you've done it, you'll come back again and again.
Yeah.
Oh, and I read The Hobbit to Orla last year. Orla, did you like The Hobbit? Oh, she nodded.
She nodded.
She nodded quietly. I think Orla might be ready for us to start walking again. Right. Onwards! Are you okay, kiddo?
Actually, that was 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago. Okay.
The green domes you can see in this shot belong to Stonyhurst College, but the school hasn't always been at this site. In 1593, in Calais, an English Jesuit priest founded a school to provide a Catholic education for English boys when it was illegal for them to receive one in their own country. Then, following the French Revolution, in 1794, the school found its new home at Stonyhurst. In the 1940s, John Tolkien was studying for a priesthood in Rome, but during the war was evacuated to the English school. This is where Tolkien and his family visited him. Nowadays, it's a Catholic boarding school for 3 to 18-year-olds who are having to have a sports day on the day we were on the walk, and they did not seem very happy about it.
Okay, so we've come to quite a nice woodlandy part of our walk, and this path is very much like when the hobbits were running away from the Black Riders. So we thought this was a good place to talk about our favourite Lord of the Rings characters. Rachel, who's your favourite character?
Well, I feel like you might say this as well, but all of them.
Yeah, of course, all of them.
I think if I had a gun to my head, if I had to pick, I would go with maybe Merry and Pippin as a unit. I feel like they're hard to separate, and even though in the books they are separated, you can still get a feel of how much they care about each other, because they're always thinking about each other, and like they go on different journeys,
Yeah.
but still are a unit. And when they get back to the Shire, they work together, and it's just really sweet how much they grow together. Like, even though they are apart, they both grow at similar levels, I think, physically and emotionally. So yeah, I just love the shenanigans and the love that they have for each other, and also for Frodo. Like, they didn't have to come on this journey, but I just love their love, you know?
Yeah.
Cathy, what about you?
I again, sticking with hobbits, I think my overall favourite character is Sam. For again, just his hopeful nature, and I think I always love a character who knows what he really believes is good and sticks to it even though everything's against him, and to just keep on plodding on and doing what you think's right. I love that quality, and I love Sam's gentleness, and that he loves growing things.
A tree! I walked into a tree! Keep going.
These trees are dangerous. So Sam, and if I can sneak in a second one.
I said two, go for it.
Okay, I think Éomer in the books, I think because he's not in it for a lot, he just piques my interest.
Yeah.
Piques my interest. He's a bit hot-headed, he's always adventuring, he's a bit out of his depth. He's almost like the least noble of the noblemen in the books, and I don't know, I have sympathy for that. When everybody else is like keeping it cool and being all wise and stuff, he's like, oh, I want to go and hit something. And I quite enjoy reading his chapters. So Éomer's my underrated Lord of the Rings character.
Lovely.
I don't know if you can tell or not, but I was kind of fearing for my life in that last video there. It's really hard to go down steps when you can't see how sure your footing is because you're trying to focus on a little camera screen, which is why my vision and head kept flicking downwards, and Cathy's too, I imagine. We were just trying not to fall and embarrass ourselves. At this point in the video, I'd love to give a huge shout out to Rob. That's Cathy's husband. He's our cameraman, he's our techie, he provides us with all our equipment. We couldn't do what we do without him. And on our walk, he was filming our talking heads, and then he gave us the camera to film our own talking heads, give a little bit of variation to the video. And then as I was coming down the scary steps, I could see him at the other side of the bridge with another camera getting another angle. And I was blown away by the commitment that he has to his wife's passion project on YouTube. So thank you, Rob. Your help and support does not go unnoticed or unappreciated. And we both love you very much. Cathy and I would love to hear some of your answers to the things that we've talked about so far. What's your experience with Lord of the Rings? Did you read it as a child? Did you read it as an adult? Have you tried to read it and you just can't get through it? Or you like Rob and you've only ever seen the films? Have you seen the 1970s animated version? Because Cathy would love to hear about it if you have. If you are a Lord of the Rings fan, who's your favourite character and why? Do you agree with Cathy and I that it's one of the hobbits? Or are you a fan of Tolkien's other races? Are you a fan of the villains? We stopped to have our lunch at this little pebbled beach that we found at the beautiful River Hodder. The River Hodder runs for about 23 miles. It goes through the forest of Bowland into the Stocks Reservoir, which feeds Lancashire's delicious water supply. If you've never had Lancashire water, you are missing out. The Hodder flows through lots of picturesque villages until it finally meets the River Ribble in the Ribble Valley. Now, we were really blessed on the day that we went on our walk because the sun was shining. You can see it sparkling on the river here. And there was no rain, and now we're heading into the autumnal months, and I know that it's starting to rain, and obviously we still go on walks in the rain, but it was really good to have this one sunny day all together as a group. You can also see Raven here. You've already met Luna and I think Comet on our Instagram, Lunabird Bookclub. They're the Luna part of Lunabird Bookclub, but this is Raven, my dog. She provides the bird part.
We've stopped for lunch at the River Hodder. There are allegations that this river inspired, the area around the river inspired a lot of the Shire. And I'm looking at it like, it's a big river.
It's a big river. Apparently there used to be a little ferry here that was very like the
Buckleberry Ferry?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Oh, also just these ducks behind us.
Yeah, can you see in the background?
You won't be able to see, but there are ducks in the background.
Enhance. Anyway, so
I can barely hold the camera straight.
we're here at the river, which inspires some of the locations in Lord of the Rings, allegedly. So Cathy, I want to know, if you could transport yourself anywhere into the Lord of the Rings world, where would you go?
Lothlorien, because I love trees and I would love to be in a giant forest with elves and all the peace and the quiet, and it's like an eternal autumn there as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, autumn's my favourite season. I want to go to Lothlorien.
Wow, I really should have thought about my answer to this before we started filming. I would. Do you know what? I think I would pick the Shire. I just want to be. I just want to be snug in a little hole in the ground, cozy and warm, with lots of food.
But it's really good that you live here, isn't it? If it's
I don't live in a hobbit hole, though.
No, you don't live in a hobbit hole. But you live in an environment that's very Shire-esque.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Let us know what your favourite location in Lord of the Rings is. Where would you want to end up? Would you want to be in the fiery hearts of Mordor?
Nobody's going to want that. Nobody's going to want that.
Somebody prove Cathy wrong.
Nobody wants to see Mordor. Rob said Rivendell, which I think is a good choice.
Emma, where would you want to go in Lord of the Rings?
Nowhere.
She's shaking her head at me. Simon, where would you want to go in Lord of the Rings?
I don't know, mine is Tirith actually.
Mine is Tirith. Do a city break with mine is Tirith.
And
Nice.
Rob said Rivendell.
Rob said Rivendell.
4 different answers here.
Yeah.
This is Cromwell's bridge. This is a bridge that Oliver Cromwell took his entire force across in August of 1648 when he went to fight the Duke of Hamilton's royalist armies in Walton le Dale in Preston. This is in the Second English Civil War. And after this, we cut our walk in half because Orla was getting tired.
We finished our long hike and we've just been for a little refreshment in the pub, the Shireburn Arms. We have
The Shireburn Arms.
Hey. Now we're going to go off to our own little homes and think about how Lord of the Rings is a great story about war and the impact that it has on the people that fight in it. Cathy.
And friendship.
And friendship.
I'm hoping for something good.
Yeah.
That's the most depressing summary of Lord of the Rings I've ever heard.
I'm looking right at a war memorial.
Oh, that's
so-
true. Anyway, we hope you've enjoyed coming on this walk with us. We release new videos every Friday, so come back next week to see what we've got going on. If you've enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Thanks so much for being with us. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello.
Do you need a snack tool? it's already recording. That's unfortunate.